It was actually a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
That's my girl right there. Right there. That's my girl. Let's see her. Right there she is.
Would you come and make your home with me? Ooh. Now you made your home with me.
Five stops already. Now we're going to number 6 on this journey.
But home should be lucky number 7, so.
Lucky number 7, home. Unless we stop to eat.
Whoa, but that's not a planned stop.
We have arrived at our destination for this afternoon.
Yes.
The Helen Keller birthplace.
Yes.
Lisa's been wanting to come here for a while now. She keeps talking about it. And here we are. We're gonna go check it out, aren't we?
You're cutting your head off.
We're gonna go check out our...
We are. So, growing up, I read lots of books about Helen Keller whenever we had to do book reports and dress up as someone famous. She was always my choice. So I've always really enjoyed reading about her. So I'm super excited to check out her birthplace for the first time ever and learn even more about her.
Let's go check it out.
They were, for their time, they were very rich. But I mean, if you look at the house, then, I don't know, I mean, it just kind of looks like a normal house. Like, it's kind of crazy that I'm so fascinated with someone who died 2 years before I was born. So do you know what this is?
No, I mean, that's Helen on the right there,
Yeah.
learning from... Tell me what it is.
So this is the historical scene. Well, I mean, I don't know, scene, whatever. Where she couldn't get her to, she was teaching her words, but then she could spell the words, but she couldn't make them. So this is at the water pump where she was pumping the water as she was sounding out water and spelling it in her hand. And so that's when pivotal moment where she started to really understand that those motions she was making with her hand actually stood for something. Kind of like when kids say words and they don't really know what they mean until they have a tangible object
So
to
they can
connect them to.
connect it with something. So this is the outdoor stage where they hold reenactments of, was it the Miracle Worker?
Yes.
Every Friday and Saturday night through the month of June and July. So you can come here and get to watch them reenact the play, The Miracle Worker. That's my girl right there. Right there, that's my girl. See her? Right there she is. That's my girl. She loves her books. Her reading. Hi, babe.
Helen's family built this house in 1820. It was actually her grandparents. David and Mary Keller came from Virginia, and they bought 640 acres and built the house in 1820, so the house is 199 years old. When they came, they purchased 640 acres. We're down to 10. So imagine a house in the country. That's what it would have looked like. When they married, the house had a lot of relatives occupying the rooms, so their bedroom is actually in that little cottage right next door. So that's why Helen was born in the little cottage, June the 27th, 1880. She was a healthy, normal child, and everything was perfect until 19 months. She had learned to walk and she was talking, and then she got very sick and ran a high fever, and the high fever left her deaf and blind. More modern doctors said she probably had scarlet fever, could have been meningitis. They called it brain fever or congestion of the brain and stomach. Helen's family was heartbroken. They took her to every doctor, no matter where. There wasn't anything anyone could do. In the following years, Helen's behavior became quite terrible. She was a very unruly child. She would have tantrums. She could be very difficult to deal with. Helen was very frustrated. One day you're walking, seeing, hearing, and then all at once your world is silent and dark and you don't understand what happened. So you can imagine how frustrating that felt to her. And everybody felt sorry for her and gave in to her about everything, so she was spoiled too on top of all that. And this is the teacher that came. This is Annie Sullivan, known as the Miracle Worker. She was 20 years old when she came here. But Helen and Annie's bedroom, when you go upstairs in a moment, it's on the left. The little bed is where Helen slept, and the larger bed in that room is where Annie slept. Helen's desk is still up there. A few days after Annie had been here, Helen played a trick on her. She noticed the key was still in the door, so she decided to lock the teacher up. She was very aware of what she was doing. She knew what keys were for. And so she turned the key and pulled it out, and she hid it under a big piece of furniture. Now, Hollywood changed it in the movie. They had her dropping it down the well. But we have that key on display in the museum room. You can find it in there. Helen even wrote in her own book, "I hid it under a big piece of furniture." But then she went about her day as if nothing had happened. The family realized the teacher was locked up. Nobody could find the key. They had to bring a tall ladder from the barn, put it up to the second-story window. The teacher had to climb out the window, those long clothes on that they wore in that time period. So I bet she thought, what have I gotten myself into? Annie would give Helen objects, let her feel of the object to identify it. Then she would name the object by spelling the name of it into Helen's hand using the manual alphabet. Helen was so smart, she caught on to how these letters felt and started spelling everything back to Annie. But Helen thought it was a game they were playing. It didn't mean anything. But just 1 month and 2 days after Annie arrived, they were at that pump that's still back there in the backyard, and with the water flowing over Helen's hands and Annie spelling W-A-T-E-R over and over into her hand, Helen later wrote that it was like all at once when she felt that cool, wet something flowing over her hands, she had a little flash memory of the word Wawa from 19 months. And then she knew. She realized, she's telling me everything has a name. I have a way I can talk with my hands. When Helen was 5, they moved from the little cottage back into the main house. Then this was the parents' bedroom, and Helen's upstairs. The clothes you see are all original, and most of those belong to Helen. They said a couple of things belong to her mother. When you go upstairs, there's a little room called a trunk room for sewing and storage, and all the clothing up there is original. So you'll see a lot of things Helen wore. The bed in here was hand carved. The quilt is well over 100 years old. That's called a crazy quilt because of the scraps used to make it and the big stitches that have names. The blue rug came from Helen's last residence, Easton, Connecticut, near Westport. That rug was handmade and given to Helen in 1949 from a Chinese organization in New York. Over the mantel, that's Helen when she was 13. The lamps in the parlor were oil lamps converted to electricity. On the round table to your left, there's a cute picture of Helen, 7 years old. That was after Annie came. Helen loved dogs. She had dogs of all varieties her whole life. You'll see a lot of different dogs in the photographs in the museum room. Over the sofa on the left wall, those are Helen's great-great-great-grandparents, Alexander and Anna Spotswood. He was the early colonial governor of Virginia. The secretary desk that's on the back left wall is where Captain Keller sat to do work. It has some of his books in the case. To the right of the fireplace is a screen shaped like a shield. Ladies in the family did the needlework. They would sit by the fire to stay warm, but they would block the heat from their faces with the shield. The story is that the ladies had beeswax in their makeup and they didn't want it to melt. The organ is a period piece that was donated to the home. That's an 1871 Jenny Lynn pump organ. A man in Florence, Alabama, restored that. That little picture collage there is Stephen Tyler. He was up here recording at Fame Recording Studios.
Oh, wow.
This is our director at the unveiling of this statue in Washington, D.C. In 2009, this statue of Helen was placed in the United States Capitol. We have the duplicate statue, so you're going to see one just like this one when you're in our museum room. But this one is representing the state of Alabama. First time they've had a statue that was of a child, a female, or a handicapped person. And the only one you're allowed to touch, because Helen learned through touch. It has braille around it. And then let me show you this picture. These are the three ladies that spent their lives together, Helen, Annie, and Polly Thompson. That's their original signatures. Helen used a writing board that kept it straight. She could feel where to put the letters. Annie stayed with Helen all of Annie's life. She died first in 1936. She was 70 and she had been with Helen 50 years. These three ladies are all entombed together in the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. at Helen's request that they would be together. Helen's funeral was held in that cathedral in Washington. This is where Helen locked her mother up. She wrote in her first book, I was 5 years old, my mother Kate went into the pantry. Can you imagine being locked up in there and it was probably full of stuff for over 2 hours? She said that she sat on the porch and giggled because she could feel the vibrations of all the pounding and the kicking. And Helen thought it was so fun. She was a rascal. Get you in trouble, wouldn't she? The table that you see is smaller than the one that was here when Helen was here. The larger oval table is in the home of one of the descendants. The dishes you see are original. I'm sure Helen ate from those plates. There's some matching pieces to the family china there in that cupboard or hutch on the right. That back right piece of furniture where the fruit platter is called a Jackson press, and it held the linens and the silverware.
Thank you so much.
We'll finish outside and we'll be.
Okay, y'all enjoy the outside.
We will. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming.
So we're leaving. Just left the gift shop.
We did.
What did you get?
I got Helen Keller, The Story of My Life.
Her book.
Yes, and then I got the niece and nephew postcards and pencils, which, you know, it's not going to mean a lot to them because they've probably not heard a lot of Helen Keller, but still.
But you could tell them about her.
I can tell them, and then they'll see our video.
That's right. We'll put it all together for them.
Yeah, they may want to watch the movie, The Miracle Worker, which is really good.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, when I taught second grade and they read a story about Helen Keller, I showed them the Disney version of
Yes.
The Miracle Worker. And so I have that one.
I remember watching it in school a long time ago, but I can't recall what grade I was in. Probably 4th or 5th grade.
Well, you probably, at that point, you would have watched one of the older versions.
Oh yeah, because I'm old.
Yeah. The one from Disney is not that old.
We're going to have to skirt the sprinklers.
Oh, it's okay. Well, cool water would feel good right now.
Yep.
That's how they keep these greens looking so pretty.
So is this what you thought it would be?
It was. It was really cool.
Yeah. It was actually a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
It really was. I thought it was going to be just a, here it was.
Yeah.
But no, this is nice. This has been really cool.
The tour guides were very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Shared lots of good information.
Yeah.
Looks like we might be back in Tennessee. There's no sign or anything welcoming you back, but
I would like to have a welcome sign to say welcome back home.
Right.
Road changed from 60% to 100% battery.
Yeah.
We're headed back home.
Yes, we're still like 2 hours away, so.
Tyson, we're home. We're home. He's looking at me.
Hello, my mama.
And we made it.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Me too.
We have been on a 48 hour or 24 hour?
Between 24 and 48.
Yeah, we left at 7 o'clock on Monday morning. It's now 7:45 on Tuesday night. We've been on the road. We've had a lot of fun. We brought back some peaches. You know, the most important thing we did was go have our anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Mwah.
So we've had a great couple of days, and we hope you've enjoyed it with us. And hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and we hope that you have a good night. We're going to get some rest. Good night, guys.